Gabriel Miranda and I have known each other since we were little. We both lived in Oviedo our whole life. Gabriel was someone impossible to ignore, but no one could tell you why. In his attitude and in his gestures, there was something immeasurable. The features in his face demanded to be contemplated. The unbearable density of glances and attention made him elusive and shy. I was the only company that he accepted. There was in him another remarkable quality. He was a genius in all imaginable disciplines. However, no one knew about this gift of his. Gabriel hid it from the moment he became aware of it. He wanted to avoid attention. For example, on countless occasions, he would fail exams on purpose to make himself look mediocre. Even for those camouflages, he was a genius. We spent a lot of time in a small storehouse owned by a relative of his. Later, he would end up buying it. He used it as a studio, and there, in privacy, he let his talent escape in gushes. I saw him paint an overwhelming portrait of Jorge Luis Borges, also a magical skyscraper of New York that not even Gabriel himself could stop looking at. I saw him write texts that challenged those of Nietzsche and Dostoevsky. One summer afternoon in 1986 was enough for him to find a solution to the Riemann hypothesis. 2 weeks later, he proved that the second law of thermodynamics was false. Believe me when I tell you that the list of creations is much longer. It didn't take long for the storehouse to become too small, and he had to buy a second place. I helped him financially. He also gave me some inventions that I promised not to show anyone. For years, I had a strange device in my room that allowed me to teleport objects. More than once, I advised him to publish his works and his discoveries, and not to worry about people's attention. But Gabriel had developed a phobia of fame. On several occasions, he declared to me that he felt destined to go down in history. Whatever he did, the violence of his talent would bring him glory. I understood how he felt, even if I didn't know what it meant to oppose an unshakable determinism. For a long time, a part of me wanted to betray Gabriel and show the world his discoveries. I believed they could help humanity. However, I never did so. We were both in our late 50s, and the years had caused Gabriel's fear to evolve. He realized that it was not enough to keep his creation secret. When he dies, someone would discover them and make them public. Neither did he want to delegate the responsibility of hiding them to others. I think it was then that he understood how tangible history is. He squeezed his talent out in search of a way to avoid glory, and perhaps for the first time, he failed. One Saturday in June, he began to destroy his creations. He buried others in places that didn't exist. Gabriel asked me to eliminate the inventions and works that he had given me. I refused. The following Friday, a woman contemplated the skyline from a gold skyscraper in New York. Her office was elegant and bright. On her brave face, it could be read that she had reached a difficult decision. And with a wave of the hand, she made a subordinate approach her. The man, who seemed very short beside the woman, knelt down. She uttered an order, and the man withdrew submissively. I returned to Oviedo after a weekend away. I hadn't seen Gabriel in a couple of weeks. I caught him reading a letter, which he quickly concealed. I was pleased to see that, although he had not stopped destroying, he still kept his most important creations. I suppose that even he had a hard time letting go of such works. Perhaps there was still hope. That day, Gabriel was nervous and unsettled. We went for a coffee, and I noticed a certain paranoia in him that worried me. That was the last time I saw him. 2 days later, Gabriel's heart, which had always been strong, stopped for no reason. I decided to honor his wish to destroy their creations. I was afraid that someone would find them, and I transported them to the small warehouse in my company. At home, I started piling up the writings that I had kept. They included impressive novels and poems, and multitudes of mathematical proofs unreachable for me. I was planning to burn them after I got my spirits back, but first I received an anonymous letter. It contained a warning and information that no one should know. The stranger demanded that I abandon the idea of destroying Gabriel's works and inventions. Disobedience would lead to death. The letter also described many of the secrets that Gabriel had kept hidden, and it had been sent from New York. A week later, I was across the Atlantic on 5th Avenue, in front of a magical golden skyscraper. The receptionist told me that they were waiting for me, and she directed me to the 83rd floor. As I stepped out of the elevator, a man in a spotless suit led me through the carpeted corridors to a huge door. I entered a large room with a very high ceiling, full of marble and ebony. I didn't see anyone until I turned to the left. A woman was admiring the view from the window. She turned around and walked towards me. Her impossible height, which seemed to me an optical illusion, turned out to be real. She was double my height. She greeted me in perfect Spanish and invited me to sit in front of her giant desk. I wanted to tell her that I had come to talk about Gabriel Miranda, that I was suspicious of them. But I realized that the woman was already aware, because she knew the past very well. She told me that she was very patient and that she was not going to let Gabriel's talent go to waste. She said that she wanted him in books and encyclopedias and in the minds of men, that she wanted him for herself. I think it was then that I understood how tangible history is. I made her a proposition that she had no doubt anticipated. I would keep Gabriel's inventions in my properties and falsify the ones I could. After my death, people would attribute them to me. In this way, I would become the hidden genius that Gabriel Miranda had been, and I would free him from glory, which caused panic to him and indifference to me. The woman agreed because she was interested in his creations and their consequences, and not the man. There were so many questionable elements in my plan, so many ways to derail it and bring Gabriel back into the infamous spotlight. The woman promised to solve those inconveniences. The tone of her voice suggested that these were minor details. Before I got up, I told her that I knew she was involved in my friend's death. I was surprised that I hadn't been afraid at any time in the presence of the woman. She confirmed my words. I then asked her if the destruction of his creations worried her so much, why not kill me too and avoid the trouble of guaranteeing my convoluted plan? She replied that, indeed, that was the easy way, but that yesterday she had made a promise in exchange for a gift. Then she turned slightly in her chair and raised the palm of her hand to direct my attention. It was then that, for the first time, I took my eyes off her. I looked up, and on the wall behind her, I discovered an overwhelming portrait of the woman. The style was unmistakable. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving a like and subscribing to the channel. Have a good day.